I wonder who came up with the term hot mic.
Maybe somebody who accidentally put a microwave in the oven and then touched it.
It's a hot mic. That's right.
Or maybe if there was like a short in it, the mic got overheated, perhaps.
Okay, I got that. Could happen. Anything can happen. Anything is possible. And we're here to talk about it. And how the Broncos are going to play to the strengths of Bo Nix against Seattle. It is orange and blue today. It is Cecil Lammey. It is Andrew Mason. And we got to talk about what we expect from the Broncos this week as they travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. And Mace, we talked to Joe Lombardi today. We've got a lot to get to, but setting up Bo with his strengths, I think, will be a key to victory for this team on Sunday.
I think so as well. And that's going to mean making sure he's prepared for everything that Seattle is going to throw at him. And what they're going to throw at him starts before the snap. One hallmark of the Ravens defense in recent years that Mike McDonald's bringing over to Seattle is how they try to confuse you pre-snap. It's not that they necessarily blitz a lot. It's that they're going to show blitz looks and then pull back, or they're going to show that maybe they got a double A gap rush coming, and then those guys drop and they rush from the flanks with a slot corner and maybe a safety creeping up. So they're going to throw a lot of different things at you. It's making sure that you don't fall into the trap. They're trying to get you to fall for the banana in the tailpipe, so to speak. So you got to do a lot of work in terms of film study and work in the classroom to make sure that when you look at what they're presenting pre-snap, you're focusing on things that actually do indicate what they're going to do rather than things that are actually designed to confuse you.
And it's one of the great strengths of Sean Payton is that he's not going to ask you to do something you're uncomfortable with. And this is veteran quarterback with a rookie head coach in Seattle and a rookie quarterback with a veteran head coach in Denver. For me, Mace, I'll give the advantage to the coach. Like, he's going to know how to get his guy in the situation he wants. And if he's in a bad situation, he'll know what maybe it's just time to punt. Punt's not a bad play sometimes. Mm-hmm. And Sean Payton's going to have that feel. Mike McDonald's trying to learn that feel.
Yeah, as a head coach. Now, certainly he's had plenty of experience on the defensive side as a play caller. So the question is, how does he handle the additional responsibility? Let's face it. We saw a coach who had some play calling experience, although not the previous year, that went into the fire as a head coach 2 years ago, first game, and it didn't go well because Nathaniel Hackett couldn't manage the end game properly. And procedurally, things were so messed up, they had to bring in Jerry Rossberg 2 weeks later to straighten it out. So I don't think we're going to see that from Mike McDonald in Seattle, but I do think that there could be some issues. At the same time, film-wise, when you hear from Jonathan Cooper, you hear from Mike McGlinchey, how much they're having to study. They're looking, on the Broncos defensive side, they're looking at University of Washington film from last year. On the offensive side, they're looking at Baltimore Ravens film from last year. Because the preseason, of course, is very vanilla, not a lot that you're going to be able to glean from that. So the preparation is quite a challenge this week.
Yeah, it's a challenge, and it's one that you just kind of got to get used to. We're here, and you got to do what you have to do. That's why I rarely quote last year's stats for the first month of the season, because so many things are different across the league, and that's why it's kind of an extension of the preseason. This also complicates fantasy decisions because, okay, we know last year Seattle was weak against running backs that catch the ball. They were 29th in the league. I don't know about this year. Is that good for Jaleel McLaughlin? Is it good for Javonte? I don't know. We have to see it. And
I don't know.
Yeah. And we'll get it a game plan, by the way, for a special Saturday edition of this show. So we're going to do a lot of that game plan type stuff. And we got plenty to say there. But working with the strengths of Bo Nix, do you want to set up the pre-snap looks that Joe Lombardi talked about today?
Yeah, because, again, you've got a lot of ways in which Seattle is going to try to confuse you. How do you kind of set things up? How do you account for that? And here's what Joe Lombardi had to say.
Yeah, you try to give them indicators, in the formation or with the motion or something. And any first game, especially a first game when there's a new coach with a new team, different personnel than he had in Baltimore. You try to cover all the variables you can and just, understand that it's not going to be perfect. And, the big thing is just keeping your poise through all the unknowns and making the adjustments during the game.
Our friend Mike Tanier, sorry to interrupt there, Mace, but our friend Mike Tanier had pre-snap motion numbers, and everyone needs to check out his Substack. The passer rating is like 95 when you use pre-snap motion. When you don't, it's like 80. So that's a significant difference for us nerds who love quarterback rating talk.
Yeah. The other thing also that I was going to get into off of that quote is Joe Lombardi saying he doesn't expect to be perfect. There's already an expectation that it's not going to be 100%, that there are going to be some issues. And the question is making sure that those things, when the problems strike, that they don't cost you. In other words, how do you minimize the damage? I mean, you said earlier in this show, punt's not a bad play, right? You might have some moments like that. And this is also where, hey, if it's second down and things go wrong, can you escape just enough to throw it harmlessly to the sideline and live to fight another down, rather than extending it or taking a stats or getting sacked, or in particular getting sacked after you spin around? Sometimes you're just beaten, you just go down. You got to do the Peyton Manning self sack, right? If things, if they totally jailbreak on you, things get missed, an assignment gets missed, and all of a sudden guys coming in unblocked, don't try to be a hero. Don't move around. Don't spin around trying to make up your mind. Sometimes it's okay to just go down, go on to the next play.
Yeah. I mean, don't know about the self-sack, Mace, but when you say, like, don't be a hero, it's not really his game. You know, now I'm sure there'll be a desire to go make a play, a desire to be like, I'm the man, I'm the first rounder. But just being around Bo Nix and studying him the way that we have, like, he's not the type of guy. Drake May would be hero ball. Drake May, you got to manage. Like, May, you can do it. You can't try it all the time. With Nix, I'm sure there will be a little bit of that, but perhaps less so from someone like Jaden Daniels or Drake May.
You'd have to break some habits with Drake May if he were here. Just like if Zach Wilson were to go out there, you'd have to break some habits with him as well, because he's another guy who likes to play hero ball.
Yeah.
There were signs that some of those habits were starting to change in the preseason, but that was against a lot of third teamers. So it may be a while before we get resolution on that question.
Yeah. And fans that wanted to see Bo Nix against some starters, well, now here we go. It's
here
week
we
one.
Go. Yeah. I got someone tweeted at me and suggested that they thought there was a 15% chance that Bo Nix got picked off on his first throw. And I'm like, no, it's not going to be that high. In fact, just to answer that and actually put a precise percentage on it, I went back through all the rookie quarterbacks last year and got their numbers for when they were in the first half and the game was within 14 points either way. And the chances of the ball being intercepted were 1.3%. So I just randomly said 1.3%. Not so randomly, but that I'd say with Bo Nix, probably the chance of that first pass being picked are less than 1%.
I would say be careful how much this statement draws your ire, because we don't need to go down this path because both of us don't like it. But like, I hope to God that's not a prop. I hope to God it probably is somewhere.
Yeah, God.
But it's like, can we just watch ball? Do we have
and
to
not gamble on every stupid?
I bet he throws a pick this time. Like, no, Bo Nix doesn't throw picks. Now, if he does make some mistakes, okay, that's got to break some eggs to make an omelet. But
yeah,
I'm not going to lose my mind because I'm not expecting him to have more than maybe a couple of picks in a game. Maybe it's this one. Not sure.
Yeah, I hope it's not this one. I'd like to see him get some confidence here in this game. So
Yeah, build some confidence and, kind of build on what those guys in the locker room have for him, because they know what he has been for them behind the scenes. And that's why they know going forward. And they themselves have that confidence despite the 12th man and on the road and week 1 and first team and all that kind of stuff. Like, we talked to guys in the locker room, Mace. They all really respect Bo, and they themselves are probably looking forward to it as much as we are.
In fact, to kind of go hand in hand with that, let's listen to what Adam Troutman said about Bo Nix today, because we were, I asked him about, sort of about where things were schematically compared to last year, and he kind of noted that it was a little bit more on point. And so, what does Bo Nix have to do with that? Well, here's what Adam Troutman had to say.
How much does Bo Nix skill set help potentially manifest that vision for what Sean wants?
It fits perfectly. There's a reason they drafted him, as high as they did, and there's a reason he's the starter. And everything that they've asked him to do, he's done very, very well, and he operates at a very, very high level. Best thing about Bo is you can feel the experience. Like, he feels comfortable in the huddle. We're going over, obviously he's going to be loud this week. We're doing our silent cadences and playing with the noise, and he's not flustered at all. So, I think we have an immense amount of confidence in him heading into this first game.
Love that about the noise too. That they're
Yep.
cranking it up and it's not affecting him.
Immense amount of confidence. A rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've believed longer than we have. And they believed longer than maybe like Oregon fans or Bo's family. It's been a while. Those guys have bought in with this kid. It's exciting, man. I mean, that's a veteran. That's Troutman, and he doesn't usually pull any punches with us. Yeah.
Yeah. He's usually, there's not a lot of false platitudes that come from Adam Troutman.
Right.
One thing I've learned. Honestly, I think there's a little of, some of that comes from being around Sean Payton for so long. He's been around Payton for 4 of the 5 years in his career, and Sean Payton traded for him in April of 2023 during the draft to bring him here. And so I think if there's something like that, there's some backbone to it.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's going to be fun, and there will be struggles.
Yeah, but doesn't it feel kind of like we're counting down to Christmas at this point almost? Like it's, the presents are under the tree. I mean, the question is it going to be exactly what you wanted right away, or is it going to be tube socks?
Mm-hmm.
Did your parents give you underwear for Christmas?
Oh,
mine did.
It's interesting the way we grew up in the country, because sometimes the old cows would get you some money, and sometimes we got rubber checks for Christmas.
Oh,
sometimes we actually got. I remember getting like a bicycle and stuff, and so it's like, okay. And what's funny is I rode a motorcycle before I rode a bicycle, because it's a country. I don't need to ride a bicycle, but I wanted a BMX bike, and damn it, I got a BMX bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's like the presents are under the tree, just waiting to be unwrapped. And there's anticipation, in part because it's been a while since you unwrapped anything that was exciting. Like a couple of years ago, there was that big fancy gift under the tree. And then you unwrapped it and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is it going to be?
A big fancy gift 2 years ago that had a number 3 on it. By the way, speaking of that number 3, you saw the calf injury that he had that's ailing him right now.
Right.
We're taking it one game at a time, but it's also hard not to look over the horizon and all of a sudden think, what if we don't see Russell Wilson in week 2?
It's a possibility. And what's interesting, Mace, about that, nobody on the team's going to be looking forward like that. Like we can, because we have the
No.
luxury of being in the media, but
Yeah.
because of first start and you don't know because it's the University of Washington offense and it's the Baltimore Ravens defense and it's kind of an amalgamation, you don't know. So and they wouldn't necessarily, but I guarantee you no one's thinking
There's
about
no
being
look ahead here. It's only chuckleheads like us.
Yeah.
And even then to a degree, but I mean, there's we can read more about it at denversports.com. I mean, it is interesting. It is interesting to kind of think about that for a moment and wonder if that's that would be an advantage or a disadvantage when we get to that discussion next week if something happens with Russell Wilson. But this is, I mean, the weird thing about this month, it's not an easy month here that the Broncos have. At Seattle, Pittsburgh at home, at Tampa Bay, at the Jets. All of these games are winnable. All of these games are losable. And I know that may kind of sound like, oh, yeah, no kidding. I don't think we're looking at any of these games and saying the Broncos have a greater than 70% chance of losing the game. But I certainly don't think you look at any of these games and say the Broncos have greater than about a 52% chance of winning. And I'd say 52% is probably that home game against Pittsburgh. So,
right. So you told me this off the air, Mace. I'll share it because I'm looking at my handy dandy card that you love so much. You have them at 1-3 after a month. I have 2-2.
Yeah.
You're not going off of 7 wins. You've said that.
No.
I'm staying on 7.
I'm staying on 7.
Changing the opening month because it seems like you're expecting that bicycle under the tree. I hope it's not a rubber check, but I know you. I've known you for 20 years, brother. You got this smile, you got this look, the sun in your hair. You are thinking bicycle, right? You're thinking to get that bike. I'm gonna get out there and pedal. You got them big old calves. You probably had them monster calves when you were a kid, right? Somebody should take a picture of your calves. He's got monstrous calves, like larger than Tyler Columbus's, and like old Tyler when he was fat, not skinny Tyler right now. But it's like you're expecting the bicycle. So you're not changing 7. All right, I'm gonna hold you to that. You're not changing 7. Are you changing 1-3 in the first month?
No, but I'll say this. I'm not expecting the bicycle. I'm expecting this bicycle to come in parts and I have to put it together. I'm expecting maybe I get a pedal or the handlebars. And then maybe a week later I get the frame. And I'm also expecting it's going to take time for me to put together, which also can be a challenge. I'm not the greatest at putting stuff together.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Like
that answers my question.
And also, like,
what would get you to change off of 1-3 then? Like, because you're excited, man. There's a genuine excitement.
I'm curious.
Genuine curiosity.
And I think it's possible that we may get positive answers on Bo Nix, and the record may not reflect the positivity that I feel watching the quarterback.
I'm okay with that.
And in fact, I think that's a potential likelihood of this season.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Hey, if Bo Nix had a great year and they went 5-12, but you knew Bo Nix was clearly the quarterback, believe it or not, that is a successful season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what you want this year. And we rarely
that's what
say
this is about.
And that's all this season is about. You want to know about Bo. Is he the guy or is he not the guy? What's your record?
About Bo.
I don't care.
Yeah. Now, if he does well, obviously you have a greater chance of success, but stuff can happen. I mean, you could have look at that game 2 years ago. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett mismanaged the end game like mad. We know that. If Javonte Williams or Melvin Gordon don't fumble, like if Melvin Gordon, instead of fumbling on 4th and goal, gets into the end zone, if Javonte Williams doesn't fumble on 3rd and goal, you give the Broncos one of those two things. What about the play where Alex Singleton had missile lock on a blitz of Geno Smith and missed, and Seattle got a touchdown? I mean, there were all those things. Russell Wilson played well in that game. The Broncos lost because you had these other things happening. The bloom didn't go off the Russ Rose until he couldn't get the play called on time a week later at home, necessitating a countdown. By the way, again, not to look ahead, but if Broncos fans want to do the funniest thing, if Russell Wilson's on the field in week 2, they would count the play clock down, but they would count it 2 seconds off. So, like, when the play clock hit, that's what the Dukes fans do. So, like, at 8 seconds, you say 10. At 7 seconds, you say 9. At 6 seconds, you say 8. If the home fans could pull that off and get the coordination right to do that, that would be the funniest thing.
That would be.
Yes.
And we.
But
will
yeah, I'm excited about this game. I am. I'm just there. But there's a lot to it, and in fact, not only do I not dismiss the notion that Bo Nix could play well and you lose, I would actually say that could potentially happen. I'm concerned about some things. I think I am curious about Riley Moss, but my goodness, this guy is going to be tested. We're going to get more into that in the game playing show on Saturday because
we talked to Riley.
Yeah, and we're going to play some comments from Riley, but he is about to be under fire. You have Riley Moss, you have a new safety core in PJ Locke and Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones coming off the hamstring injury. I have questions, and I mean, I wouldn't even dismiss the notion of a 34-31 shootout type of loss in this game. When I think about all those other things, when I think about how I still got to see it from the pass rush for real, because we haven't really, I mean, there's still questions there. I mean, the Broncos were near the bottom of the league in pass rush win rate on defense last year. So, yeah, okay. I can't help it. Sometimes I get into being the realist, the pragmatist. Okay, that's sort of my thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. It's totally.
I'm not. I may have an orange Sunday thing behind me. I'd like to think I'm not a homer.
No, we don't do that on this show. We seek the truth and speak the truth, and the truth of the matter is, I'm concerned about Cody Barton.
Yeah.
And it's like I've seen too many oh shucks, I almost was there plays.
Close. He's like in practice, he was the king of man, just missed it. Like, gotta be a tick faster.
Yep.
Because there are plays to be had.
Yeah, Noah Fant could be a problem for you. So again, more
that's
game plan
something
on Saturday, but
oh man, that's something I haven't thought about. The revenge of Noah's revenge. Noah,
and
you don't want to turn. You don't want
revenge.
You don't want Lumen Field to turn into Noah's Arcade. Come bust a move where the games are played. It's chill. It's fresh. It's Noah's Arcade.
I don't know. These kids love this show.
The Pac-Man, or what is it that he describes one game where you can't get to the next level, so the kids keep coughing up the quarters.
Right. That kids coughing up quarters. That is, you had to be there moment.
Yeah, another one of our dated cultural references.
Yes, for sure. That's like a payphone. Jody brings up something, and again, we'll get into more on this Saturday. And we cannot look at last year's defense with this team whatsoever. They do have talent. So yes, they're 25th ranked D, but they have talent that wasn't coached properly. They do have talent on the defensive side, and not just those two big corners that I was able to ask Joe Lombardi about. Again, more on that on Saturday. But if we look defensively, there's going to be some names that you recognize, like Jaron Reed, like Leonard Williams, Boye Mafe, if you're a draft guy. Draymond Jones is there. Fans are going to know him. Uchenna Nwosu. So they've got talent in the front seven. If they coach him better, look out. So last year was last year, man. This is completely different scheme.
Make no mistake about this. That defense underperforming last year is why you have a new coach in Seattle. It was the biggest reason why they underwhelmed last year. And I mean, you look at they were losing some un-Seahawk like games. I mean, you remember that game in Dallas on Thursday night last year?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't feel there were stretches that just looked like they didn't have a prayer of stopping the Cowboys.
Yeah, they do whatever they want.
And and for considering what you're used to with Seattle, and go down the list of games here. I mean, I'm just cursory look at their 17 games last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, including to Pittsburgh with all their issues. 6 times last year, the Seahawks allowed 30 plus.
Yep. There's a reason why, and a reason why you go for defensive coach.
I like that. Someone says I'm having a good hair day.
You always have a good hair day. Very rarely.
Not always.
Very rarely. There's a few times, maybe a humidity, a little flat, wearing a hat.
But
that.
What is this blonde thing going on? I don't get it. It must be the light.
It's the sunlight, man. Like you're glowing. You're glowing, Mace. You're happy because the season's here.
Yes.
You're happy for plenty of reasons, but the season's here. So
football counts tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know everyone probably doesn't want good things for the Kansas City Chiefs hosting Thursday Night Football, but it counts tonight. It counts tomorrow with the game down in Brazil. It's exciting, man. It's like we're back. We're back. It's been nearly 7 months. We're back.
We are back.
Football time. Back. And we're
Holy
going to
Diver
start finding out about Bo Nix. Yeah. What do you say? Smoke a pipe?
Holy Diver wants you to smoke a pipe during the show.
Oh, my gosh.
You could have one between your teeth, like one of the curved ones, right? Like an old man.
The late Larry Coyer, former Broncos defensive coordinator, like after practice, he'd go sit on a bank on one of the benches by the building, and he'd talk about his defense, and he'd be smoking a pipe. Yeah. On a cold day.
Mm-hmm.
With his gravelly West Virginia voice. He's a hard man. Larry was a good dude. Larry was a really good guy to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting set of fascinating set of interest for Larry Coyer. He was a keen fan of musical theater. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Like he and his wife, like their big vacation every year, most years would be going to Broadway and catching and just crossing off show after show after show. When he was in college, he at some point took a class like a theater class, and it just he got the bug of interest. Like he basically, if you wanted to ask him about any kind of musical, he'd tell you, he'd go right away. That was a passion of his.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can't all be football.
Yeah,
as Mike Mack told me years ago, you need to get a life.
Ha!
I was going over my schedule with Mike, and like Monday I do this, and Tuesday I do this, and Wednesday I do this, and Wednesday, and it's like, you need to get a life. So
yeah,
I'm trying.
Steve saying the gift under the tree is either a Red Ryder BB gun or a bunny suit. Oh yeah,
it could be both. Honestly, you could get Bo looking good and a loss. That's a bunny suit and a BB gun, right?
Or you could get a great possession, and you could get just a bad decision that leads to a pick six.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will have my binoculars trained on the sideline on Saturday or on Sunday, pardon me, to examine what we see. Are we going to see some crazy things on the kickoffs? I think there's a wrinkle coming.
For sure.
I'm so happy I'm turning into the Teletubbies sun baby. Where's Vic? There we go.
That is happy.
Yes.
He was probably talking about pasta in that quote, right?
Or
something's on his mind.
Or the late Sam Mills or Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yes. There you go.
All things in which Vic Fangio had a particular passion.
Mm-hmm. That and playing cover 4. Bringing it to the league. Now everybody does it.
Yeah. Gotta break that cycle here, man. Gotta break that cycle. Yes,
by the way,
maybe that is it.
I got the football season glow. Yeah, it's a happy glow. And I know you got to run here, brother, so we better cut this thing Better cut this thing short.
Well, we got a bonus show that we're gonna record tomorrow for Saturday.
Yes. Yep.
So we'll have our regular show on Friday.
Yeah,
we'll
Mace will give you a little update solo. I'm featured guest at a comic book convention. So
exactly. So we're gonna be live tomorrow afternoon, live Friday afternoon, pregame show Saturday. I'll have at least one video piece that I post on social media from Seattle. I'll get that on, probably Twitter, Denver Sports Facebook. If I send it to you on YouTube, could you put it up as a short or
sure,
whatever? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll have plenty of stuff here. I'm gonna have my numbers piece coming up on Saturday. Got a couple more pieces as well. We've talked with Donald Parham and Frank Crum this week. I'm planning on you're gonna get to hear from them here on Orange and Blue Day the next couple of days. So we got a lot. We got a lot in the hopper here.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I don't want to give you more work, but you should write A Night Before Christmas, but Broncos themed, and then you should read it from Seattle.
Ooh,
'Twas the night before week 1, and all through the needle.
No, it's not Christmas. It's Nixmas.
Yes, you know what that gets. That was perfect. There's there's one moment of perfection.
That's exactly what I was hoping for. Patrick Bateman and Texarkana.
Little Huey Lewis in the news. You like Huey Lewis in the news?
Do you like Phil Collins? Yeah, Huey's. You should listen to the lyrics of Hip to Be Square. It's a statement about the band itself.
Oh, yes. We could do this all day, every day.
That's why we do the mess around stuff at the end. That's like that's fine.
It's totally fine.
We operate in an inverted pyramid format here.
Yeah. Well, we got to do something or else we go nuts. So there you go. We're there for you. We appreciate you. I'll be doing the post-game show, maybe from Black Hawk. I'm not sure yet. I'm doing a public appearance at Black Hawk, so come out to Ameristar and hang out, watch the game with me. I'll at least be there the first half. I might be there the whole game and for the post-game. Don't know yet, but come on out on Sunday.
Hopefully talking about a win.
That'd be great. There's a glean, gentlemen.
Let's get the glean.
You've got
as
that.
The late Marty Schottenheimer would say.
You've got it, man. You've totally got it.
Hey, I'm happy. Football. It counts. It's back. Actual games. Like, that's the thing. It's much easier to do this job when we're talking about actual games. That's why.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Before we're out of here, let's get some help on YouTube, Mace. How do they do that?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell
so that you
never
miss.
Oh my gosh.
Vid.
What the heck?
I love candles.
Oh,
so
I guess if I had my phone here, I'm using my phone to shoot this, so never mind.
Right.
Do the, hold it aloft and all that.
Hold it up. Yep. There you go.
Remember when everyone had little lighters? They take them to concerts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think all of us had a lighter, even if we didn't smoke, just to take it to a concert.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you not?
Yeah.
I'm going to blind everybody, but you wanted to do this. All right.
Blinded by the light.
Mm-hmm. He's Mace. I'm Cecil. OBT's a BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and would you please? Oh boy, how about this? Hey, sorry. How about you stay frosty?